welcome or welcome back to Life on the French. Today I wanted to do a cage tour of our 4 hamster cages. In the past we've done videos where we film the cleaning of a cage and then we show you putting it together with the new design and what that design looks like. But since our last video we have redone all 4 of the hamster enclosures. And I just wanted to kind of show you what they look like. If you're anything like me, you like seeing what other people's cages look like to get ideas. And I'm not saying ours are the best or anything, but you know, it's fun to see how other people have set them up. So if it's something that you like that's in the enclosure, then you can make it, buy it, or you know, incorporate it into your own design. So I certainly have learned a lot about my own style through watching other people's cage cleaning, cage makeover videos. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So this is Rocky's cage. Rocky's enclosure is probably my favorite of our designs, just because of the cage itself. So you can see from back here, down below is a typical 40-gallon reptile tank. That's the Reptihabitat premium 40-gallon reptile tank. But above, this is a fish tank that we got from PetSmart or maybe Petco, but one of the big retailers. And as you can see, it's longer in its design than the 40-gallon, but it's also thinner. And what that does for the design of the enclosure is it gives more space for longer items, and you don't have as much open space in terms of depth. Now, because Rocky is our oldest hamster, and we've had Rocky the longest, we kind of know what Rocky likes, so we don't change up Rocky's cage as much as we do with the other enclosures. And we know that Rocky really likes like wooden tunnels, so these cork logs. As you can see, we have 3 right there, and then we put in this like tree with a tunnel limb. We also know that Rocky likes to burrow, so you can see we have tons of burrowing space, which you should have even if your hamster isn't super into it, just in case they change their mind. But we don't have tons of open space because Rocky doesn't like it. Most hamsters like crowded spaces, which is why this is so crowded. And also why we decided to have such a big bottom story. In addition to giving us extra square inches, it provides kind of a total enclosure. So Rocky really likes to hang out down there and make little burrows in that area. You know. And because we know Rocky prefers enclosed spaces, we have this little rock that serves as a sand bath. We also have the sand bath up above. But Rocky really likes it in here and spends a good amount of time in there using that sand bath or sleeping in the sand bath, and it's nice. And because we know Rocky likes to burrow, we've included an open front rock enclosure. So Rocky can get in from down there, and then at the bottom that side is open, and that there is also open to bedding. I think the takeaway from Rocky's cage, if there is one, is the crowdedness, how to utilize floor space, the interesting shape of the cage. And finally, we have 2 water sources. So we have this water bowl and a water bottle. Please ignore how it's attached. We're working on it, but we have both available, and Rocky actually prefers a water bowl. Not all of our hamsters do, but so yeah, basically you want to have a wheel that's big enough for the hamster, you want to have sand baths, you want to have water sources, you want to have deep bedding, you want to have plenty of places to hide, and you want to have a lot of enrichment. So as you can see, we've scatter feed, but then we also have sprays. We have different textures with the cork logs and the wooden bridge and the rock, and that's like a kind of strange acrylic-y material. This rock surface over there. You know, lots of different things for Rocky to explore. We can contrast the fullness of Rocky's cage to how open this cage is. And again, it's not terribly open, but it is definitely more so than Rocky's. And that's for a couple different reasons. One, as I said, the depth of bedding makes it so that it will look shorter. Also, Hypnos likes to burrow as well, but when Hypnos burrows, it fluffs up the bedding, so things that once were above the bedding are now below the bedding. You know. But as you can see, we still have the water bowl set up because we aren't sure which Hypnos prefers right now. We have a sand bath, we have a large wheel, we have somewhere for them to hide, tunnels to climb through, and under, different textures, ceramic, hay, rock, wood, plus the bedding, plus sprays, plus chews and whatnot. I won't spend tons of time here because when we adopted Hypnos, this is the same setup. But what I will say is one of the reasons too why I have it so open is just so that when Hypnos does come out, we can see Hypnos, just so we can get to know him a little bit better without compromising on how exposed Hypnos feels. But eventually we probably will put in a second story, but it wasn't super necessary, we felt, to do right away. Over here we have another 40-gallon standard size tank, standard dimensions. This is Patch's cage. So, as you can see, we have deep bedding, like we do with all of our cages. We have a sand bath with a little hide. We have a wheel. We only have a water bottle, not a water bowl for Patch, because Patch doesn't use the water bowl. It just spills everywhere. We have tunnels for him to hide through. This tree is probably my favorite. This like tree trunk shaped thing is probably my favorite piece that we have in Patch's enclosure. We have this wooden, like with Rocky, we've made a second story. You can kind of see it here. And Patch spends a lot of time down there digging it out and making a little home for himself. It's very adorable. And then we have a second story with a little hide and a little seed bowl. Patch is one of our hamsters that we don't see every day, so one reason we have this seed bowl up here is because we can monitor how much of the food disappears over time to make sure that Patch is still well and good. We see him about once every 3 days, probably, so, you know. I think in scenarios with hamsters that are like that are way more nocturnal, way more shy, having a place to put like treats is a good idea, because then you can see have they disappeared or not. Do I need to like do an emergency check in addition to the standard checks that you would do. Last but certainly not least is our cage for Gamer. Again, this is a standard 40-gallon tank, standard dimensions. We have a water bottle, not a bowl, for the same reason. Now, Gamer we see all the time, and we do scatter feed, but because he used to have a different cage when we rescued him that didn't have a lot of bedding, we think that's why he doesn't burrow, but also why he likes to have solid platforms. Like he likes to sleep here onto this rock. So we bought this for him to go up there and eat up there if he wants to, you know, and then again we can put treats up there, but we do, as you can see, scatter feed throughout the cage, and we have sprays. And like I said, we have a sand bath here. It is rather small. The reason we don't have a larger sand bath is that for some reason Gamer pretty much exclusively likes this one. We've put in bigger ones in the past that just get ignored. This one he uses all the time. I don't know why, but that's why. But typically you would want a bigger sand bath than this, or to have a bigger one plus this. And then we have the Night Angel wheel. This is the largest wheel we have because Gamer is the largest hamster that we have. It's also the best wheel we have in terms of noise, quality, how easily it runs. I can't recommend it enough, but it is so expensive we just can't. Our hamsters use the other wheels. We don't see a reason to upgrade at this time. But maybe in the future we will. Hello, Gamer. Hi. Yeah, he loves that coconut. But again, there's lots of different textures for him to go through. Different chews. You can see bamboo, walnut. There's a whimsy back there. There's a wooden chew. Tons of stuff. So as you can see with our hamster cages, there are some things that all of them have because hamsters need them. Depth of bedding, sand baths, water source, wheel of the appropriate size, somewhere to hide, chews, whatever, food, obviously. And then something that we like to do that's extra is kind of diversify the textures. As you can see, all of our hamster cages have somewhat of a naturalistic type theme. That's a personal preference, not necessary. But as you can also see, none of our cages look the same. We don't have, the same products in every cage. We have a couple where we have like 2 of the same things because finding things that are naturalistic for hamsters that are not crazy expensive can be difficult, so we do reuse some of the same stuff. But they just all have their own different flair, and I like that about the cages. And I think that's why I find cage designs so fun to watch on YouTube, just to see, the different personalities and how to make them better. And of course, I watch like on Instagram people's cages, and some of them are fantastic, way beyond what I've done or, could possibly do. I just, some of it is like knowing what to put in the cage. Some of it's just like artistic talent and my creative capabilities ceiling is lower than what it takes to do some of the cages featured on like Night Angel and stuff like that. But regardless, I think it's still fun to see what people do in their cages. So if you liked our cage tour, you can give a thumbs up. If you have any suggestions or thoughts about our cages, you can leave them down below, or questions. If you want to see more of our content, click subscribe, ding the bell button to know when we post. But most importantly, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!